Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to discuss my tips for improving and refining your skills as fast as possible. I made a video similar to this a month or two ago where I talked about why a lot of you guys weren't improving and how you could stop plateauing in terms of skill. In that video I gave some general tips and guiders for what to do, but I still get a ton of messages asking for more specific ways and drills to get better. That's what this video will focus on, and I'll be sharing a lot of what I use to improve and to get to the level that I'm at today. I'm going to break the video into 6 different parts, focusing on each core aspect of the game, so everything from aiming, building, and editing to game sense and just overall gameplay. For each section, I'll talk about what specific drill I recommend you do, how to improve while doing it and what to look for, and then talk about why improving that part of your game and the specific way that I recommend is important. This video isn't going to be covering things like building or editing techniques. It's more going to be how you can build upon the ones that you already know and take the foundation that you have to the next level. If you are looking for a helpful resource to learn the basic and even some of the advanced stuff from, I really recommend ProGuides.com. ProGuides is an amazing site that I actually used to get better at League of Legends back in the day, but they've quickly expanded into Fortnite and are making some of the best guides that I've found online. Among the tons of courses they offer that cover everything from basic building techniques to scoring higher and placing better in arena, they have an entire 33 video course that they filmed with Mongrel, and they recently partnered up with Mr. Savage M as well. ProGuides also has a live 24/7 coach and a bunch of other helpful tools to help you track your progress and improvement. So if you are looking for that extra help, be sure to check out ProGuides through the link in the description. I'll put some timestamps on the screen now in case you're interested in one of the 6 sections more than the other. But if you want to become the best player you possibly can, I definitely recommend watching the whole video through. With that being said, let's start with the first aspect of your gameplay that will improve, your aiming. For improving your aim, I always recommend creative aim training courses within Fortnite, and then the most popular aim trainer outside of Fortnite, Kovacs. The best creative aim training course that I've found was from a great YouTuber that you guys probably know and love, Gearsy. I'll put the code for it on the screen now and a link to Gearsy's channel and the video in the description. If you haven't played his combat training course, you're missing out because I personally think it's the best aim training course within Fortnite. It's updated with all the latest guns, including the new tactical assault rifle and the combat shotgun. The best sections within it that I use are the flick section, the SMG tracking section, and the AR tracking section. The flick section is extremely helpful in practicing those up-close shotgun shots where you turn and flick your mouse or your thumbstick on an opponent. I haven't found any other creative courses that help you train your flicks, and especially one as good as this. Make sure you're practicing actually flicking your crosshair, so put your crosshair a few feet away from a target and then try to hit it as fast as you can in one motion. This way you'll be able to hit more of those clutch shotgun shots when you have a dude spamming a drum gun in your face. The SMG tracking section will help you become more accurate when you spray with an SMG or you're the maniac with the drum gun. I can't tell you how many fights that I've won against someone with a drum gun because they miss every single bullet when they're hip firing. The drum gun may be overpowered, but you still have to hit your shots with it. Just make sure you keep your crosshair on the target the whole time as you glide across with the ice. The last section I'd focus on is the AR tracking section with the slanted and moving targets. Really focus on making your tracking smooth and actually tracking the target back and forth. You don't want your tracking aim to be all over the place or really jittery, so this is where you can practice it and make your AR aim as good as Tifu's, who actually uses this map a lot. Outside of Fortnite, pretty much every single pro player uses Kovacs Aim Trainer. For flicks and close range practice, I recommend either Tile Frenzy or Tile Frenzy 180, which is my personal favorite. Again, working on flicks will help you hit those close range shotgun shots. If you've never played Kovacs before, make sure you check out my guide for how to set everything up, otherwise it might be a little confusing. For tracking aim, I recommend Ascended Tracking V3 and Kata IC Long Strafes. These will really help your tracking aim with an AR while ADSing or while hip firing with an SMG. Use Ascended Tracking with your ADS sense to practice your AR aim, and then Long Strafes with your hip fire sense for SMG spray tracking. Be consistent with your practice on Kovacs and try to do it for at least 30 minutes every day, but don't do it for more than like an hour. Focus on improving your accuracy rather than just your score, and remember that the overall goal is to improve your Fortnite aim. Kovac himself recommends focusing more on the tracking games than Tile Frenzy, which I agree with him on. The tracking game scenarios are much more useful and applicable to Fortnite than the Tile Frenzy scenarios. Just keep that in mind while you use Kovacs, and don't get too stressed if your Tile Frenzy score isn't that high. Focus on the tracking scenarios to really see improvement in your Fortnite aim. Second way to improve is through arguably the most important aspect of Fortnite, building. The best way to improve your building is 1v1ing people in creative. Every single pro player does 1v1s in creative for hours each day. In between scrims, they practice creative 1v1s. To warm up, they practice creative 1v1s. And after they finish scrimming, they'll practice more creative 1v1s. The insane builder that I'm showing right now is Booga. A lot of you guys, if you don't follow competitive, may not have heard of Booga before, and you'll probably just think he's some kind of creative warrior that's only good in playground and 1v1s. That's where you're wrong though. Booga came in first in the first week of solo qualifiers for the World Cup. Creative 1v1s or just straight up free building is the best possible practice you can do to improve your building. The more you practice your ramp rushes and 90s, the more consistent you'll become and the less you'll actually mess up in game. A majority of the time, if you're in game and you're losing in build fights, you're probably either making mistakes or you're just behind the other player mechanically. Whichever it is, you should be grinding in creative to perfect your build so you stop messing up, or you should be in creative and build battling your friends to learn from them and improve. Do your best to try and practice with someone who's at your skill level or better. There's no real practice in just beating up on your little brother on console. Also make sure you're watching pro players like Booga and Ghost Bizzle play 1v1s and look for certain high ground moves and retakes they do. If Bizzle's doing a high ground retake and he cones himself somewhere, ask yourself, why did he cone himself there? This is just a basic example, but you should be able to understand my point. You want to try to question what they're doing and why they're doing it. The hardest part for a ton of you guys will be transitioning your creative practice into a real game, which I'll probably make a video about. But for now, just realize you probably won't ever have the opportunity for a clean 1v1 or the materials to waste 500 wood doing some insane high ground retake you saw FaZe Sway do. Pay attention to how players like Tfue play out build battles. A lot of the time, if they don't get height immediately, they'll drop down and turtle. Only when they shoot out high ground and are trying to retake it for themselves will you see them break out some of the more advanced building techniques that they know. Pros literally call this playgrounding for height, when two players start build battling in a game to get high ground, and they start using retakes that they use in practice in creative. In general though, being good at creative will make your mechanics more consistent and is very good practice. You will never see a pro player with bad mechanics, period. The third way to improve is editing, and my favorite course to improve your editing is from Raider464. Just like aiming and building, you want to practice your editing to gain muscle memory and become more consistent. There's a ton of different practice drills and scenarios within Raider's edit map that I honestly can't even cover them all, but just trust me, they're all very useful. Editing, more than any other skill, requires just straight up muscle memory and repetition. I think it goes without saying how important editing is in game and overall. Editing allows you to make plays on opponents, get yourself out of sticky situations, and just overall speed up the pace of the game and will allow you to do more when you can edit fast and consistently. There's obviously tips and tricks that I've showed in the past that will teach you guys new edits, but there's no shortcuts to actually becoming a fast editor. It's all grinding out edit courses and practicing. All the fast editors that you see clickbaiting their hearts out on YouTube with,
"I'm the new fastest editor,"
they sit in creative for hours just editing. Obviously, I don't recommend doing that, but if editing is one of your weaknesses, hop into this edit map and get to work. Fourth way is your game sense, which unlike your mechanics, you can't just sit in a lobby and practice that for hours. Game sense combines your knowledge and experience in the game with your decision making and thought process. I learned a lot about game sense from just watching pro players and players that were better than me. Sometimes it's better to watch Tfue play for 30 minutes than it is to play 30 minutes yourself. If you're practicing the same things but you're doing it the wrong way and making the wrong decisions, it won't really help. I also have a game sense series of my own that covers a bunch of different topics and will help you guys start to really understand what game sense is and how you can learn it. The fastest way to learn game sense to me is to not even play Fortnite, it's to watch and analyze how players better than you do. Think about each decision they make and why they did it, as well as if it paid off in the end. Something that helped me learn in game was just going for wins, which for a lot of you guys may sound stupid, like why wouldn't you go for wins? What I mean is go and land somewhere safe, loot up, and then try your best to win. Don't take any stupid fights, don't land neo-tilted and push everyone you see, just play it slow and passive and actually think about every move you make. Every decision you make, like which loadout you'll run, where you're going to rotate, and where you base up, that's all game sense. And when you die, go and see how and why you died. Was it from a dumb decision you made, or did you just lose a fight because of your mechanics? Either way, there's different ways to practice it, which I just covered. Fifth way to improve is through Storm Wars. If you don't know what Storm Wars are, they're basically endgame simulators for tournaments and arena matches. This is the best possible practice you can get for those crazy endgame scenarios with 30 people alive and the storm quickly shrinking and moving. Again, every single pro practices playing Storm Wars and there's a reason for it. The only way to practice endgame situations other than scrims themselves is to simulate it. That's why Storm Wars are so amazing. You can literally practice 10 different endgame scenarios in the same amount of time it takes to play one full arena match. Obviously, playing arena is important, but focusing your practice on endgames is so much easier with Storm Wars, so definitely use them to your advantage. The last way to improve, which kind of sums the video up, is to just play Fortnite a lot. It can be pubs, arena matches, or even Team Rumble. No lie, I played Team Rumble in 50 vs 50 for like a month or two when I first switched to PC to get my mechanics down. By just playing the game, you'll be utilizing and practicing everything we went over. Aiming, building, editing, game sense, you use all that stuff every game, and in a real game, you'll be able to improve by seeing how you do against actual opponents. If you want the fastest way to improve while playing, then play Arena, play Scrims, and the World Cup qualifiers. Arena matches let you face off against opponents of equal skill, and most scrims have zone rules, so you can actually get pretty stacked endgames. The last tip is to also make sure that you're playing solo. Squads and duos are better and they're more fun, but a lot of you guys don't realize that you're relying on your teammate too much and that you're not improving yourself. By playing solo, it's far easier to improve quickly because you have no one else to blame or to help you. You're the only one pushing for height or making the decision to push someone, so it all comes down to how you play, nobody else. So if this video helped you guys improve, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and to turn on post notifications. To everyone who's using my code, I love you, and thank you all, it really does help me out a lot. Otherwise, that's it from me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.